Hello, everyone, and welcome to this evaluation of the Unified User Experience, or UUE. Today, we're talking about how to create a CRM with drag and drop software. So let's get into some of our questions, a problem statement. Basically, what scenarios present opportunities for management to change the CRM platform on demand? And how is the bottom line impacted when a drag and drop CRM is utilized? Drag and drop meaning a no code, either a low code or a no code solution. We're talking about a no code solution in this case. So how is a company impacted by failing to use a no code solution, right? If you're going to do everything from scratch, if you're going to do everything proprietary, what hoops does your organization have to jump through to get changes made to the agent desktop or to the CRM data, right? I mean, so when you think about this, a lot of engineers will tell you that building a CRM is like, it's like building a car to replace another car. That's not exactly true. When you're talking about CRM and contact center, you're actually talking about building a train station and building all the tracks and building all the switches and everything in between. So the question is, do you want to be in the train business? Do you want to build your own railroad? Is a better comparison than just saying, hey, we're creating something simple. You know, if you want the functionality to be modern, if you want it to interface with all of your interactions, and you can see from what's on the screen that this system is extremely powerful. The functionality is about 100 miles deep compared to a lot of solutions that are out there. So what we want to talk about is how can we integrate with your current data platforms and bring everything onto a single screen? Are your employees able to see what is being done in other departments in real time and to take actions based on that information? If not, you might be experiencing some communication breakdowns and definitely some lost labor. So let's get back to the proposition of making changes to your platform. For many companies, it involves hiring a developer, outsourcing to a development firm, or a combination of both options. Unfortunately, this method leads to long wait times, as simple changes to the platform can take months. And the question is, are they implemented correctly? What's worse than a delivery failure and all the investment and time that you spent becoming all for naught? And that's probably the worst case scenario, right? So that's the advantage of a no-code solution like Ivenix, where the system is purpose-built for making changes, for adapting to your business model. The unified user experience has become the standard in many respects for agent desktop and getting to your agent data in a matter of seconds. So, simple changes can be executed the same business day. And in this case, your team can have feedback and they can say, hey, boss, can you please add or change data fields in the system? I have a team that I work with that does my outbound sales appointments and outbound sales appointments for many others. So we're booking over 100 appointments a month easily, and they'll need changes. They'll come to me and say, hey, sir, can we please add 3 to 5 data fields? Here's what we need them to do, and I'm able to get those done, pretty much in real time. Now, we recommend that you do the changes the same business day, do it after production hours. However, the system is very robust and it can handle changes during live production hours, but we don't recommend it. So here's a simple model for this piece. And again, we're talking about this drag and drop no code software. Basically, it starts out with your interactions. On the far left side of the screen, your interactions. This is how your customers are communicating with you. Your text messages, your inbound and outbound calls, basically emails, anything from social media chats. And then once we have the interaction, so it'll be a single interaction at a time. Obviously, the platform can handle many different interactions simultaneously. Then we have integrations. And the importance of the integrations is Are your agents logging in and out of too many screens? Are they, are they hindered by that? So we can pull in data from these different integrations. Now, this is going to become relevant to the drag and drop piece, because let's say I have an integration with Microsoft Dynamics that's not really listed on here, but if I have an integration with Microsoft Dynamics or NetSuite, once that integration is configured, then I can put the data anywhere that I want on the screen. I could literally say, the top right corner of the screen is Microsoft Dynamics data. The bottom left corner of the screen is ticketing data from Salesforce. And then I could have, on the bottom right side of the screen, I could have SharePoint knowledge base information. You get the idea. So I can basically put data from different systems anywhere that I want on the screen, and then I can put native data anywhere that I want on the screen, because this is an enterprise grade CRM. It's an agent desktop, and it's a contact center unified communications platform. That's a mouthful, right? But in simple terms, it's all of your interactions housed in one place, all of your use case data housed in one place, and a synchronization of all of your data housed in one place. And then the very, very simple summary of it is, you're going to have an interaction. That interaction is going to show the right screen at the right time. Now, that's going to become very relevant when we talk about click reduction. Click reduction involves basically showing all the data on the screen, but having the record found automatically, right? Having all the relevant data found automatically. So that's everything that you need to know in terms of background information on the platform. But let's talk about what a no-code solution would do for your organization. So let's say that this is your setup, and basically you're going to get an inbound phone call, right? And so from this single inbound phone call, we have the customer's contact information here, and then we have the customer journey. So we can see all the customer interactions. I can pop up and speak to any of those customer interactions on the fly in the center of the screen. This is my guided process. Whatever your guided process is, it might be a ticket, it might be an inbound scripted process. It doesn't matter how complex that inbound scripted process is, our system can handle it. We actually, one of the more complex use cases that we have, actually, I'll give you two of them. We have medical insurance onboarding, and we have a fulfillment. We have like a home shopping network fulfillment script that our system can do, where it takes all the options from the order. Hey, I want this kit with this accessory, and this kit with this accessory, and then I want this payment option. All that can be recorded in our system, and then we can send the data to the fulfillment center through our API or through a CSV file delivery. And then, not to get things too confused, on the right side, we have our knowledge base. It has a parent-child hierarchy, fully searchable. And then as a sidecar here, we can embed portals. There's an example of a portal embed within the system if necessary. Now, obviously we like an API integration, but this is a second option if an API integration is not possible. And then, calendar objects that we might have for follow-up and things of that nature. So that just gets you familiar. That gives you a tour of the screen. The far right side is the research panel. The center of the screen is your use case. And then the left side of the screen is going to be the customer journey at the bottom, and then the customer contact information. Now, let's give ourselves a problem to solve here and demonstrate the no-code solution. So let's say that we were told by management that they have new protocols, new procedures. Something came about in the industry. There's new compliance needed to keep track of things for customer records, whether privacy or whatever the case may be. So we need to add data fields. So we're going to come over, we're going to go to our admin, and then our admin is going to bring up this screen. We'll go right to the customer card data node. And once I'm in here, the data everything is drag and drop. So you can see I can drag the fields around. And so these are the Ivenix data fields. You see I can do configurations on them. I have full control over the styles and the colors. whether the data fields have rounded edges, how tall they are, how wide they are, everything of that nature. And then we do also have some tools in here that are snap to grid so that all of your data fields will be uniform like this. So they'll all snap together and they'll all fit nicely in a single block. But it's very easy for you to manipulate them. The other thing that I can do here is I can add another tab. So I can say I want to create another tab, which would appear right up here in this white space. And I can add more data fields to that tab. And I could have multiple tabs. I could have like a 6-tab process. So that's where we're talking about a multi-step onboarding, like a medical health insurance onboarding. Step by step by step, we can trigger each tab. So you could say, when I select this drop down, boom, then I want a button to appear. And I can actually create a button from right here. That's one of the data field types, one of the 35 plus predefined data field types that we have. But I can easily come in, give a title to what I'm doing, add options. Here's all my options from my drop down menu. Whatever configurations I want, I can make it a mandatory field. I can configure the styles. I can set a default value. So there's a lot that I can do, but that's adding a data field to the system, right? So if I add a data field, I'm not actually going to add a data field on this piece. Let me just cancel out of that. But if I added a data field, it would come to the bottom of this set. And then of course I can move it around anywhere that I want, right? Because everything is drag and drop. Now the question is, once we add a data field, what options do I have? I could make it one of the columns, the searchable columns. You can see these searchable columns like campaign, information about the customer, whatever it may be. These columns match these columns up here and they're fully searchable. I have these quick search fields up there, right? So the great thing is I can decide right here what I want to be searchable fields out of this data set, and I can change it anytime that I want. Secondly, I can create rules for how this is going to function, right? So if I make 2 selections on these drop downs and I wanted, with these selections, I want 4 more data fields to show up, I can just create a rule, excuse me, I can just create a rule to have that happen. And that would be right here in my display rules, which just use and or logic. So we say 2 data fields and or logic. This is equal to that. So this is equal to month of July. That is equal to a status of closed. And then we add maybe another data set. Customer is equal to JK Rowling heating and air conditioning. So we'd be able to see for the month of July, closed tickets for that particular customer very quickly and easily. That gets configured. I got my time frame, my status, and my client information. And it's very easy, excuse me, it's very easy in the system to create a parent-child hierarchy if you have multiple clients to manage. So you can have parent-client contacts, and then you can have child objects for contacts on those clients, right? So here's all the contacts for the HVAC client, or here's all the contacts for town medical, right? As 2 examples. So if the system is drag and drop, then how does that relate to your API data, right? Because we talked about the API data, we talked about the integrations. How does that work? So the answer is all of the API data is going to be drag and drop. So once we connect a data field to the API, the data will be drag and drop just like that. But let me show you how the connection is made in those data points. So if we go to the integration mappings, we'll do, when our team does an integration for you, they'll build out something like this. We'll create filters. How often do you need to exchange the data? How many records can we pull per second? Whatever it is that we need to set as parameters on this. Once that's all set, it's really simple. We just say, let's take the remote data field from the remote system. So the remote system might be NetSuite, or it might be your proprietary CRM. We're going to take the remote data field. We're going to map it to the Ivinix data field. Once these two are mapped, once the relationship is established, any data that Ivinix receives when synchronizing with that data source, it's all going to be drag and drop. So you can position your data fields however you want, even if the data is integrated with an outside source. So we give you full control of moving your data around, of creating rules with your data, of creating workflows and automation with your data, regardless of the source. So we could be automating synchronization between 4 or 5 different platforms. And then step by step, we're going to come in and allow you to show the data fields from a remote system. And it might be something that system is not doing already. So there's a huge jump in benefits in that regard. And then you're going to have these KPI dashboards. You're going to be able to track everything that you're working with. So that's great. Again, in a no-code solution, I just wanted to show you, not only can you build the CRM from scratch and you can build the data fields and synchronize the data fields, but you can also build your reporting dashboards very quickly and easily. You set the parameters over here. It's the same filter with the and/or logic. You can set the colors. So if you had, let's say you had to create a dashboard for a specific client and you wanted that dashboard to have their corporate color scheme, you could do that. And then you have about 8 different major components that you can select from to create these dashboards. The dashboards are unlimited in this system. And the beauty of the system is you're integrating contact center interactions, I should say, with use case data. So we're marrying the 2 pieces of information. And so if you make a change, long story short, if you make a change and you add data fields in this no code solution and you say, I need 3 new data fields right here in my customer card entry. Once those 3 data fields are added, you can dynamically go in and add those data fields to your reports, right? Secondly, you can also change and add process automation. So you can say for these 3 data fields, I need to add them to an email cadence, an automation for an outbound call, something of that nature. But the long and short of it is that it's a no-code solution. You don't have to know programming. You just need to understand logic. So again, these and/or filters are what run everything. And if this is true and that is true, then I want you to take these actions. That's essentially how simple it is to configure this for your business, for your team. And the actions you might want to take are, I want to assign work to someone. I want to assign an outbound call to an agent. I want to assign a follow-up to someone. I want to send someone a notification, or I want to pop up a notification as an alert on their screen. I want to trigger a outbound script. I want to trigger some kind of an onboarding action. Maybe I have actions that are interdepartmental. So one action starts with accounting, one goes to customer service, and so on. There's a lot that can be done with this. But the long and short of it is you can assign work, you can trigger actions, automated actions by the system, and you can keep track of SLAs. So you can say, if it's been 10 minutes and this ticket or this use case hasn't gone into a different status, then I want to escalate automatically to a user or to a group. So escalations, SLAs, work assignments, guided processes, long-term automated processes, marketing processes, outbound processes, all of that is possible within the UUE, and it's a no-code solution. You can see you can configure these actions as a no-code solutions. Not only that, but once you get it built, we'll help you build it out actually when we implement it. But once it's built, if you wanted to replicate them, you would just hit copy, and you can copy this entire action set so that you could do some testing. If you said, hey, this one's going to function a little bit differently, and we're going to test that model, or I need to just copy this data set because I need something very similar for another client, but they want just one thing changed or 2 things changed. So it's extremely modular in its execution, and it's a no-code solution. I can't get into all the functionality of this. I mean, there's things like data protection and data logging and histories, and there's mass updates and mass functionality. Tons of things that I couldn't cover in 20 hours if I had the time. So what we can do is we'll have you reach out to our sales team. First off, you can go to our website, www.ivanix.com. That's IVINEX.com. Go ahead and visit there and book some time with us, maybe 20 minutes to talk about your current agent experience and, some of the problems that you're facing, some of the challenges that you're facing, or send an email to sales@ivanix.com. Again, that's sales@IVINEX.com. And I want to thank you so much for your time today. Please reach out with any questions and have a great week. Goodbye.